going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this one we're going to go over some of our meme stocks that did very well today and some of the charts, what we're looking at for the coming days and events coming up. But before we get into that, I wanted to go over this tweet from Unusual Whales talking about the Federal Reserve's Rosengren and Kaplan, how they are selling their stocks amid the growing ethic concerns. And then basically down here it shows the stocks that they sold. So pretty much everything except Apple, Oracle, and Google. There's just a lot of sells right there. So that's kind of giving me a hint that, maybe something bigger is coming leading into all these Fed events we have coming up, as well as tapering and the indices pumping on low volume and being near all-time highs. So just something to think about going forward. Make sure you're keeping that cash and always hedge. And if you guys enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, so first up is Sprt, and we have been buying this one around $20 or less, and this one actually started the day off, just up a little bit, and then actually pumped to 26, sold off, pumped again right before the close, and then down a little bit after hours, and we saw some profit taking, obviously before that event coming in tomorrow. The volume was pretty good today, above the average volume today, so 63 million compared to 57 million. A lot of people focused on this one. We saw a lot of good call flow. However, I did see some put flow come in for 917. So, that's telling me maybe people are betting that after this event tomorrow, we'll see some selling into next week. And, I do agree with that. We'll probably see a sell-off depending how much we pump tomorrow. Now, Sprt, we've been calling this one pretty well in the videos lately. We knew it would come down to 20. And then, we were banking on a round two. I think round two is just getting started. I could definitely see this one going to $30. Now, what happens after the vote, I don't know, because that's a huge catalyst, especially if the vote doesn't go through or if it's a sell the news event. So that's why you got to be careful. I would likely take profits before the vote tomorrow and maybe leave some runners so you don't get FOMO in case this thing does squeeze and go hard. So here's the catalyst tomorrow, September 10th. This is apparently going to be a huge catalyst. Basically, it's just a shareholder vote. And they need 50% of shareholders to vote yes, similar to how, SPACs work, where you mark yes or no if you agree on things, and if it goes through, it'd be bullish, and if it doesn't, well, you can likely expect this thing to tank. So, even if it goes through, you could see some selling the news, which is why I would say be careful, set some stop losses, protect yourself on plays like this that are highly volatile. Nobody wants to lose money, but down here it says everything's on the line. This is a Hail Mary in the sense that everything rests on the shoulders of the shareholders, but usually that term, applies to the chance of not succeeding, and there's little to no reason that this wouldn't succeed. So Greenridge Generation may sound like purely an energy company, but it seized upon a key opportunity when it filled a market need and opened a data center for blockchain technology services for a company like Sprt that needed to embrace a changing industry landscape to stay relevant. Merging with a company like Greenridge certainly makes sense. So we'll definitely see how this goes tomorrow. If we sell off in the morning, I might pick up some shares and play the pump, but we'll see how that goes. So we also saw a lot of Sprt call flow coming in today, as well as Bbig, 67% call flow and 96% call flow for Bbig. So those are two that I'm definitely watching. We're going to get into the Sprt chart, and then we'll start talking about Bbig next. All right, so here's Sprt on the daily chart. Looks to be breaking out of this somewhat of a falling wedge here. Broke out today, and now it kind of sold off a little bit after hours, but we do have this gap to fill, at 28.50 all the way to 30. So that is what I'm looking for. Maybe we get that gap fill tomorrow pre-event or even post-event. We're just going to have to wait and see. Some really good buying volume towards the end of the day and the last 2 days. We are not quite overbought yet. But you could see last time we were overbought, we sold off, and MACD is still crossing up. So that's looking good. 55% call flow. I do believe most of the puts are for 917. So after the big catalyst plays out, I'm sure we're going to see some selling and profit taking. Basically, what's holding this up is just a lot of people's interest in the potential short squeeze. There's also a huge wick, at $59. This thing could run like crazy. The cost to borrow is insane. So we could see, a huge squeeze, and I think that's what is sparking so many people's interest. But mainly, the event tomorrow is keeping people, bullish on this for now. All right, next up is Bbig. This one was down quite a bit this morning, down to 980. which I think is a pretty good place to pick some shares up. Now, around 758-ish, I felt like that was the bottom for BBIG, and the bottom was in this morning. It happened to pump all the way up to, into the 11s. The high of the day was about 1134. Looking at the volume on this one, volume was a little bit lower than usual today, but still overall a pretty good day, up about 7% including after hours. I don't think this move is done yet. We have a lot of key dates coming up, and I do think that just holding shares of this one will pay off. It'll just take some time. It's consolidating right now, and I do think we're going to get some more catalysts in the near future. Going over this article pretty quickly on BBIG here, it talks about how it's hard to forecast the moves for a stock like this, especially with the volume. And basically, if you have low volume, it's hard to calculate a support and resistance. Now, I think we've been doing it pretty well, but it's tough to know exactly how these are going to move and, how they're going to be manipulated. But one thing I always say is when you're in profit, set a stop loss in profit, because these things can drop like crazy. We've seen the moves that they make, and it's always nice to have your stop loss triggered. You make money, and then you can always choose to get back in if you want. Stop losses can sometimes go against you. Say it just barely ticks your stop loss, and then it goes up even higher. That always sucks, but most of the time it pays off, and especially on these meme plays, it's paid off for me a lot. All right, here's my chart for BBIG, forming a nice cup and handle here, looking for a breakout and retest of that wick at 1250. Over that with good volume, then I could see 15, possibly even 20. You're going to have profit taking along the way, though, when you hit those high levels, just how it goes. Call flow 57%, plus the flow we saw on Shutter Flow earlier in the video. A ton of dates coming up, such as the mail-in proxy date, shareholders meeting, and the record date for the Tide spinoff. So tons coming up for BBIG. I prefer shares because options are highly volatile. Premiums spike and drop hard, and I think it's just a big way to lose money. So be careful on options. If you do play options, make sure that you are buying dips and selling rips and not vice versa. So that's what I got for BBIG. Still bullish on this one. Last up, one that is now on my radar is ticker symbol Btcm. This is Bit Mining, up about 8% on the day, so definitely had a pretty solid day. And on the week, it's actually down 8%. So, this one could still provide some nice gains. It went to $14 on September 3rd. Would like to see it get back there. There's a nice wick at 14, so we'll see if Btcm can get back there. I know that this is very expensive to short, and there's high short interest on this one. Call flow 75%, and it's forming a nice cup and handle. So yeah, looking for this one to break out and retest that $14 range. Don't have a position in this one, but it's definitely on my radar now. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and the quick update on these three stocks. Let me know what you guys are watching in the comment section below. Feel free to check out the free Discord and the Patreon, and have a good one.